This is a billboard in Detroit, Michigan, and as you can see, it says black people are being pushed out of Detroit. The article is in a publication called blackdetroit.com, spelled B-L-A-C, Detroit. And it's attributed to somebody named Alana Walker. Well, my question is, are black people being pushed out of Detroit? Well, not really. Let's take a look at Detroit demographics. If we were to go back to, well, the most recent year is 2010. 10.61% of the population was white. That includes Hispanics. White Hispanics. Okay, let's go back 100 years. The year 1910, the white population was 98.75 white, and the black population was 1.23%. So, question, who is pushing whom out of Detroit? Is that proper to say whom? I never know when to say whom or when to say who. I always say whom after a preposition. And I don't even know if that's correct, but I always do it. So going back to 1820, when they first started keeping a census, apparently, the population of Detroit was 95.29% white. Imagine 1,400 people living in Detroit. That's a tiny little town. That's a one-horse town. I'd say a one-stoplight town, but it was 1820. They didn't have stoplights. Okay, and as you can see, as the population mushroomed, it grew significantly. To 1930, the population was 1.5 million people, and still over 90% were white. Black population, 7.65%. Okay, now we were told that the reason the population of Detroit turned black is because all these black Southerners came up to Detroit, but if you take a look, right up until 1970, the majority of Detroit's population continued to be white. Started to decrease, obviously, from 90% to 80% to 70%, then 50%. Then it really started to drop. After 1970, it went down to 34%, 21%, 12%, 10%. Who knows what it is now? Probably lower than 10%. And again, that includes white Hispanics. Now, why did it suddenly shift after 1970? Something happened in the 1960s that compelled white people to abandon Detroit. My best guess would be it was the Detroit riots. They said, we're fed up with this. We're out of here. Now, there was a time back in Detroit's history, back in the 1940s, when the population was 90%, 91% white, that there were riots in Detroit. And when black people they became too violent, attacked white women, raped white women, white people got tired of what they called black rascality. Today they call it ratchet behavior, but back then they called it rascality. And they would, the white population would react violently. Yeah, there were actually white riots, a lot of them. Sometime Google the search term Red Summer. That goes back to 1919, 1920, but there were a lot, I mean dozens and dozens of white riots. When white people fed up with black crime, took the law into their own hands and attacked black people en masse. I mean, it went both ways, but in 1990, 1920, there was actually a race war going on in the United States. Historians never talk about it, but it was there. I don't know why they don't talk about it. Maybe they think white people say, hey, we can fight back. I don't know why. They just ignore it, but you can Google it, find out. Okay, so this billboard is a little bit misleading. It's not that black people are being pushed out of Detroit, it's that white people were pushed out of Detroit. Okay, with that in mind, sometime Google the search term Detroit Blight and then click on Images and see what happened after black people took over Detroit. Okay, I already did it, but you can do it on your own time and you can scroll down and look at this. Here's the point that I want to make about these photographs. I want you to look at each one of these buildings. The one at the upper left end, for example. That building was designed by white architects. It was built by white people. There is a point in time There was a point in time when that was a brand spanking new house. I mean, just perfect condition. Somebody opened the door, put a key in the keyhole, and opened the door for the first time, and they said, "Man, look at our beautiful mansion." What happened? This row of shops here at one time that was a brand new building. When I put my hand up to my mouth, what I'm doing is coughing. I mute the mic so you don't have to listen to me. These houses here at one time, again, brand new buildings designed by white people. Then black people moved in. This neighborhood once was brand new, built by white people. Then black people moved in. Here you can actually see the, well, this is not on the screen. Okay, let's go down here. And you can see photo after photo of urban blight in Detroit. Look at this building. See if I can do this without losing the screen. Look at this building. The windows are broken out. These buildings are dilapidated. These buildings are dilapidated. What we are seeing here is we are seeing visual evidence of regression to the norm. What I'm about to say is politically incorrect, but it's true. I don't try to impress people. I'm not trying to make people mad, not trying to make people happy. I'm just trying to tell the truth. You can react however you want to. Okay, here's what happens. You take sub-Saharan Africans out of Africa, and you plop them down en masse on Lake Michigan, in Detroit. What you have is you have a bunch of Africans. 50,000 years of genetic programming is not deleted, it's not edited out, it's not taken away simply because they were moved geographically. So you can take Africans out of Africa, you can move them to the south, and then they can migrate to Detroit. They're still going to be Africans. Okay, I told you it wouldn't be politically correct, but we're looking at the evidence on the screen even as I speak. This house, the designer was a white guy. The architect was a white guy. The house was built by white people. And that is symbolic of basically all of Detroit. Built by white people, regressed to the African norm. So when they put up billboards like this, and they put this in my face and say, "Hey, you white people are pushing us out of Detroit." Excuse me, you pushed white people out of Detroit. Didn't push me out because I never lived there. But you moved in, brought in your violence and your crime, and white people said, "We're not going to fight this, we're just going to run away from it. We don't want to have to deal with it. And if we do deal with it, you're going to call us racist. So we're just going to leave you to your own Africanism." I don't even know what you call it. Regression to the norm. So go ahead, put up your billboards, blame white people. But the fact of the matter is Detroit was a much better place when white people lived there, 95%. Okay, so what is the point of all this? The point of all this is sometimes I make videos like this and people get to the end of it and say, "Okay, that's interesting, but what's the point?" Well, the point is this. We are living in a state of deception. We are told that white people are eminently racist and we do nothing but hurt other people. What you're seeing in Detroit is that the exact opposite. You're seeing that white people moved in, they enhanced the area. They built not only nice buildings, but an infrastructure. They built a wonderful community with good schools that was civil, very, very little crime. Yeah, there was some mafia-type crime back during Prohibition, but by and large, Detroit was a place where you go out and take a walk in the street, and you didn't have to worry about being mugged or shot or have somebody pop you in the head. Try that now. Try walking through Detroit late at night and see what happens. Yeah, I got a problem coughing. So that's the point of the video. To make the point that we are being lied to. We are told that white people are somehow evil when all we did was build a nice city and they destroyed it. That's the truth. That's the point of the video, to tell the truth. Okay, well, why are we doing that? Why are we telling the truth? Why don't we just play along with the cultural Marxist narrative, the paradigm that white people are always bad, the bourgeois and everybody else are victims, the proletariat? Well, the reason we do that is this. The way that you deprogram people whose minds are enraptured or caught up in a cult is you deprogram them by telling them the truth. You put their brains in a position where their brains have to compare the fantasy, in this case the fantasy of cultural Marxism, with the truth of the truth of reality. So their brain is put in a position, they don't have a choice. They have to compare the two. Typically what they will do is first they will reject the truth. Okay, how do they do that? They'll say, oh, you're racist. They'll say, no, there's some other mitigating factor other than genetics playing out here. They will reject the truth, and that's to be expected. But then you keep telling the truth over and over again. Keep telling the truth. Let them call you racist. Let them call you whatever phobe they happen to think of. They call you white supremacist and blah, blah, blah. Keep telling the truth. Why? Because reality, as I like to say, reality is the antidote. The cure kills the cultural Marxism virus that has infested our brains. So if you want to have a nice, clear thinking mind, you got to kill that cultural Marxism virus because it's distorting your perception of reality. The way you do that is to expose your brain to the truth. By the way, you might want to quit watching television or reduce it significantly. You might quit going to the movies or reduce it significantly because basically those are just brainwashing apparatuses or I don't know. What's the plural of apparatus? I have no idea. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this on social media. No, we're not pushing black people out of Detroit. They pushed white people out of Detroit. Give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because what we do here is defend Western culture, and we do that just by telling the truth. This is honesty. This is the way it is. No cultural Marxism, politically correct crap to screw with our brains. This is the unvarnished truth. Deal with it. If you like that, subscribe to our channel. Also, leave a comment in the comment section below.
How to subscribe? Click subscribe. Click the bell. Check the box. Save.